Good morning, folks. How's it going? Hope everyone's doing well. Having a wonderful Thursday, and today for recipe day, we've got ourselves some delicious shrimp tacos to do. So we're going to be making the tacos from scratch, as boys. A little bit of masa, also a mix of flour. You can do either 100% masa if you've got the press, or you can do totally all plain flour if you want, or all-purpose flour. But we're going to do a bit of mix of the both. I'm also going to have some shredded lettuce in there, a little bit of mango salsa we're going to be making from scratch, and also mixed up with some avocado. And then obviously we're going to steam those shrimps, and I mean you could batter them if you want, but we're going to do a nice little healthier version, and then we're going to do a nice little yogurt to finish it off. Probably the first thing we want to do is probably prep the shrimp, but the shrimp has already been deveined and it's ready to go, so I don't actually need to do anything with that. But we're going to start on the pickled cabbage first, get that done. We're going to shred it down, and then we're pretty much going to add 2 tablespoons of vinegar, 1 pinch of salt, a little teaspoon of olive oil, and that's pretty much it, giving that a little mix up. What we want to do is basically take the bottom off, cut it straight in half. Now, we don't need a lot. Now, if you bought a bigger cabbage, I'd probably recommend using an eighth instead of a quarter, but we're probably going to use a quarter as it's quite small. So use your own head to how much you decide you want to use for, depending on how many you're doing. But I don't want to go too crazy with this, so we're going to go for roughly about a quarter of the small cabbage. If it's a large, I'd say about an eighth. Best way to slice this down, instead of like trying to do it and then you're topsy-turvy, you're all over the place, I'll show you an easier way and more safer way for you folks. So if you're not too confident with chopping, just take some layers off, and then you can slice it like so. I'm going to do a short cut, so not too long, and then you can cut it this way. There we go, and it's as easy as that. What we're going to do is pop the cabbage straight in here, and then we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. So we want 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, cider vinegar or vinegar of your choice, a good pinch of salt as well in there. Oh, olive oil, of course, extra virgin olive oil, just about a teaspoon. You don't need a lot. You don't want this greasy. You don't want it like absolutely coated in oil. But you just want a little bit just to kind of bind it together. Just a little smidge, a little teaspoon in there. All right, so give this a nice little mix. And we're just going to let this marinate for a good hour or two. Let's get the lettuce sliced and also the spring onions prepped up as well as we got the board here. All right, sorry. This lettuce is not like too old, but it's starting to get a little bit brown on the edges. So I'm just kind of picking it down a little bit. We're just going to give it a wash. Slice it up. So what we're going to do, top and tail, just to trim them up. And then what I'm going to do to wash these, I'm just going to open these up a little bit with my knife, so the water can get in between the tubes and it can wash out any of that bacteria, that dirt. So super important. Make sure you kind of open them up so we can slice it. If you haven't got a Japanese mandolin, you can use the grater, and you can use it on this side, the side with the little thin slices. So you can even use it on that if you want to, but just be careful. Just watch your fingers. So if you haven't got a Japanese mandolin, that's also another option there for you folks. Or if you haven't got that, then I'd probably recommend just using your knife and just be very careful. So let me slice this up quick first. So what we're going to do is just trim the tops off these and the bottoms, top and tail as they say. Want to keep your hand flat once you started it. It's only the vanquisher of fingers if you go like that. If you keep your palm flat, you should be fine. So it's knowing how to use the tool in the right way. If you use it incorrectly, then you're going to cut yourself, yes. Let's pop them bad boys in a little bowl. So I'm just going to slice this up to a nice little chiffonade. Watch your fingers. Right, so lettuce is done. Oh, we can do the lime yogurt next, can't we? Certainly can. So we want 4 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, and you can go for 3. If you don't want to make too much, just reduce it down a little bit. We also want 1 pinch of salt in there and half a lime juice. 2 teaspoons of honey just for that sweetness, just to kind of balance out the acidity from obviously the Greek yogurt and the lime juice. And then all you want to do is just give that a nice little mix up, have a taste, and then adjust it if you need to. Shrimp I do need to steam, and I'll show you how to steam it even if you haven't got a bamboo steamer. I'll show you a little trick that you can use with your household appliances. You want to fill a large pan with water about, I don't know, 1/3 of the way up, and we're going to pop that on the stove, bring it up to a simmer at least. Once it is boiling, I'm going to obviously wash this up in a second. Pop it in there with our shrimp, and then we're going to put a saucepan lid over the top, and then we're going to let it steam for about 15 to 20 minutes, just until tender. Don't overcook them, obviously. Let's get the red onion. Let's get the mango out. And so we're going to need I'm going to use about half of the half of the ripe mango. We're going to have a whole avocado, preferably recommend a small one, if not half of a large one, and then about a quarter of red onion. You don't need a lot of red onion. I'm not a huge fan of raw red onion or raw onion in general, so don't overpower it with too much. A little bit of lime juice in there, and then just a pinch of salt. Don't want to. I'm probably going to even go for a quarter of this, but we'll see. Probably even a quarter, so it's going to be a little bit hard to chop up, so what I'm going to do instead, just break this down. And then just pretty much cut along into nice little dice. So just to make it a little bit more easier to actually do. And there we go. I feel like this is just going to be enough, to be honest with you. I really don't want to add too much onion to this. Right, so we're going to cut the avocado in half. What we're going to do, don't push too hard so you go through it and then cut yourself. So you just want to just lightly run your knife down the avocado. So you want to make some nice little lines. So you're not pushing through the skin. And then you want to do the same this side. And obviously the finer lines, the more finer dice you're going to get out of this, right? Grab yourself a nice little large spoon. Little? I don't think little is the word I was looking for. Grab yourself a large spoon. And it should all come out. So we want our squeeze of lime juice in there as well. Right, so we're going to peel this down. Also, when you're cutting the mango, make sure you don't cut too close to the nut, because then you'll end up pulling off a lot of fibers into the flesh, and it's not very pleasant to eat. So you want to kind of go a little touch away from it. And you might think it's wastage, but honestly, it's not, because you don't want to be eating that fibrous textures. It's just not nice. It's pretty much, if you're having trouble slicing it, you can slice it this way. But just be very, very careful. As long as you've got a sharp knife, you shouldn't have any issues. So just cutting it this way. And then what we're going to do, just pretty much cut it up, slice it, sorry, and then cut across into a nice little dice. Be careful I don't mix this too much, because this avocado is proper ripe, so you don't want to mush it down. So we're just giving it a nice little kind of light mix. Right, pinch of salt in there as well, just to give it a little season up. I'm going to put a little smidge of cilantro. Now this is optional. If you don't like it, leave it out. You'll be fine with that. Lid's going on. So we're going to steam these for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to put about roughly 20 minutes. Should be about fine. Fine and dandy. Right, so we're going to go for the tacos. We want 150 grams of plain or all-purpose flour, 100 grams of masa. We want 25 ml of oil, and we want 2 pinches of salt, and then obviously water to help bind it together, just until it's into a dough, and then we're going to knead it for about 5 minutes, and you should be good to go. I never really kind of weigh it out. I just do it by eye, so I'm going to show you, okay? So I'm just going to add that much, mix it. I guarantee you it's not going to be enough, but I'm just going to mix it up. So you can see right there, it's definitely not enough, so we're going to need more. So here we go. Pop a bit more in. I never have a weight for the water. I just do it by eye, because different flours absorb different amounts of liquid. So if I give you an amount, it might change. So just do it by eye. It's much easier. Before you know it, it's bound together, right? That's all you're doing. You're just binding it together. So adding little by little. So if you're scared of adding too much, just add a little bit less, like I was doing, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine with it. Right. So time to give this a little bit of a knead. Pick up all these little pieces. I'm just going to knead this for about roughly 5 minutes. Don't want to knead it for too long. It's not going to be like a bread dough, but I'm going to knead it for a little bit. About 20 grams. I think 20 grams should be suffice. Right, so there we go. That's what we want. 20 gram, beautiful tortilla. So that's good to go. I'm going to get some pans on the unit to start cooking these down. And we also want to start cooking these down. No oil. So we're just going to go in for about between 30 and 40 seconds each side. And then we're going to put them in between foil, just to hold the moisture in there and to stop them from drying out so they can stay nice and flexible. Beautiful. Very nice. Certainly think it's taco time now. Sounds good to me. A little bit of lime yogurt, just to start us off. Not too much. 1.5 will be fine. You also want a little bit of... Actually, I wanted to probably preferably put the shrimp on last, but it's okay. Bit of salad. Then we want a little bit of mango and avocado salsa. Obviously, we want some of these beautiful little fresh radishes. They also crisp up in water as well, so hence you can see they like almost like kind of curl up and stay nice and crisp. And then just a little bit of scallions in there. And then just for a little kick and pop, go for some hot sauce if you want. Or you can just leave it plain. It's entirely up to you. I wonder if I could hold it up using some lettuce and garnish. There we go. I guess we could. There is our homemade shrimp tacos we made for today. And if you want this recipe, it will be on my website tonight. So just be patient with me while I get it all sorted for tonight, and then I'll upload it. I'll post it on Discord to let you know when it's ready. So the homemade tortillas, very straightforward. We did 150 grams of flour, 100 grams of masa, 25 ml of oil, and 2 pinches of salt. A little bit of water, bind it together, knead it for 5 minutes, and then we cut them down into about 20 to 22 grams of balls, rolling them out into nice little discs, about yay big. There we go. For roughly about 10 to 12 centimeters. And then heating up a non-stick pan on a medium heat, cooking them for about 30 seconds each side, and then popping them in between foil to stop them from the moisture, and to keep the moisture in there, sorry, and stop them from drying out. So as for the rest, we did sliced up iceberg, self-explanatory, little slices of radishes, which we did on the Japanese mandolin, spring onions there, and then we also did an avocado and mango salsa, which consisted of about 1/8 of a red onion. We also had half a mango diced up, half an avocado, pinch of salt. We also had a half a squeeze of lime juice in there, and also what else did we have in there? I think that was it. Oh, and a little smidge of cilantro, not too much, but if you don't like cilantro, you can always leave it out. So, and then we put that in there. As for the lime yogurt, 4 tablespoons of Greek yogurt. You can even lower it down if you want to. 2 teaspoons of honey, half a lime juice, and a pinch of salt. Mix it up, good to go. And then we just finished it with a little bit of sriracha sauce. And that's it. And obviously the shrimp, not forgetting the shrimp. You don't need a bamboo steamer, but we steamed off once they've been deveined. They're ready to go. Dropped them in a pan of water, which was about 1/4 of the way up, boiling away. Put your colander in there, put your shrimp in there nice and evenly, and then put a lid on top. 15 to 20 minutes. Mine took about 17. Let them cool and then chill them in the fridge. If you want to have them hot, cook them last minute before you plate them up, and you can have the shrimp hot if you want to. So options are there if you want to play around with that. And that's pretty much it. So there we go. There's those fantastic tacos. Chat, I've forgotten to do something. The pickled cabbage. Totally forgot about the pickled cabbage. So yeah, I totally forgot the red cabbage, but we got it on there now. And the red cabbage was very simple. So we had a small head of red cabbage. If you're using a large one, I'd probably say 1/8 of a head, but we used 1/4. Sliced down really nice and thin. And then we had 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar in there, pinch of salt, and a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil. Mix it up. That's it. Don't need anything else with it. So if you want a bit of sweetness, you could always add a little touch of honey. But yeah, that was the other final component right there. So fantastic. Right, let's try this again. Goodness me, I'm going to try one more now, because I already had like two already. One off camera, and goodness me. But yeah, very good. Oh my god. Absolutely fantastic. Going through the avocado, just cuts right through it, and it's absolutely marinades and works together really, really well. So then you get a light sweetness and fruitiness from the mango. These are dead good. Stay safe, awesome, and I'll see you tomorrow. All the loves. Thank you again, my friends. Bye for now.